time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by
PSE Archery, Yamaha Outboards, Better the Hunt, Easy Cut, Packer Max, Deer Camp Coffee, Buck Baits, JPO Game Calls, Limwalker Game Calls, Wild Seasoning, Total Peep, Sunrise Archery, Scent Lock, and Scent Blocker.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. Host Mike Adams sitting in the cabin with the heat rolling tonight on a blustery night in Michigan. It's going to be blowing hard this week. Actually, Saturday, it's going to get nasty.
Right?
It'll be warm, but we're going to have a windstorm. So
Yes, exactly. But kind of odd weather for December.
yeah, a little bit.
You know,
just a little bit.
It's not settling down, which if you were hoping there was going to be ice, there was going to be ice by next week.
Yeah, right.
But
So,
I tell you what, I'm good for a white Christmas. That'll get us into the new year, and then let's bring on spring turkey.
there you go. All right. Hey, Kyle, what's going on? Kyle is in the cabin tonight. I tell you what, let's give you guys some promo codes tonight that's going to help you save a little money if you're doing some last-minute shopping. Dan,
Absolutely.
kick it off, Dan.
I tell you what, if you need some Christmas ideas and you're in the area of Sterling Heights, get on over to 15 in Dodge Park and check out the Deer Camp store, which is their brick and mortar store, which also has buck baits in it on a display there. Go down there and visit Julie there and pick up your buck baits. What you need, fill out the end. Makes a good Christmas gift. Deer calls, squirrel calls. If you use the promo code UNJ20 when you go to the website, www.buckbaits.com, you get 20% off your order. If you want another gift idea, you can pick up a gift card, I do believe, over at Packer Max. Give Lincoln Roan a call. Get that Packer Max. Before you know it, folks, we're going to be talking spring planning. And if you use the promo code UNJ25, you get $25 off your order at packermax.com.
And you know, where would I go if I wanted to get maybe a coyote call for this upcoming
I tell you what,
season?
it's that time of year. There's nothing better than going over and visit Paul and Amy over at JPO Game Calls and using the promo code UNJ10. You'll get 10% off your order. But
What are we drinking tonight?
Last but not least, what are we drinking?
I told you, wall hanger.
Okay.
Deer
You
Camp Coffee.
thought it was wall hanger.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
official. Okay. And if you go over to deercampcoffee.com, use the promo code UNJ10, you'll get 10% off your order over there. And we're going to take a quick peek in. Whoop.
Danny, come on.
I can't.
You're clicking on the wrong stuff, Danny. You're killing me, man.
Right, I know,
Kill
right?
me, Smalls. There you go.
There we go.
What's the weather
Look
like
at the snow they got up there.
in beautiful Newberry, Michigan, up in the
It's
UP?
28 degrees right now up in Newberry, and over at Cedars you can get a great pizza and Deer Camp coffee as well over there. But big shout out to FM 123 carrying the show live over there. If you notice, they got in the streets, they got the lights going across, the Christmas lights.
Yeah, kind of like what we got going on here.
Absolutely.
Gotta like that, man. See, now I took our name banner down so you can see our festive lights here on the front.
Oh, there you go. Gotta like that.
But let's get into the show, man.
I tell you what, we got to get into the show because we met this couple at Woods and Water, and we did some talking. They came over to the Buck Baits booth, and we did some talking, and ended up finding out they were local. And we got talking, and we said, hey, we got to have you on the show.
And who would that be?
So none other than Natalie and Jayson Bauer of Island Armory.
What's going on, guys? Gals?
Hey, how are you guys?
Glad to be here.
Doing good. Trying to keep Danny under control tonight, so, you know.
Sounds like it.
I didn't have the pleasure of meeting y'all at Woods and Water. I took off early that day, but Danny called later that evening. He said, I got this great company that we want to have on the show and talk about firearms and suppressors and all kinds of good stuff we use, whether we're punching hole in paper, or whether we're hunting, or whether we're protecting our home. All kinds of good stuff. So let's just jump right into it. Island Armory. Tell us a little bit about Island Armory and what y'all offer.
So as of right now, we're more of a boutique setup. We are looking for a storefront, so if any of your viewers out there might know a good storefront within like the Warren, Clinton Township, possibly Sterling Heights, if they still like us, that area, we want to expand and open a storefront. We just can't find the right location yet. Right now, we're located in Warren. We are a full-service firearms dealer. We're also both certified NRA instructors for CPL classes. We do gun sales. We do suppressor sales. We can sell machine guns, all the fun stuff. We can definitely take care of anything people need. If they want to buy something online, we can handle the transfer process, do the background check and all that sort of thing. We only charge $30 for it, so we're pretty economical when that thing, when that comes around. But we can pretty much get our hands on damn near anything someone wants. So if there's something out there someone's looking to get, we can help them find it. If they want to do a custom build, we can definitely help them out. We build our own rifles. If they want to build an AR, we can hook that up. We've got a local guy that does Cerakoting, so we can do some cool paint on it. If they want to do a custom Glock or a custom handgun, there's a lot of stuff we can do with all that as well. So we're kind of, full house as far as that goes. We don't do any gunsmithing in-house. Got a couple of great guys you recommend for that sort of stuff, but anything else we really can take care of.
Yeah, Jason's right. We really offer like a one-on-one experience. We get a lot of first-time gun buyers. They aren't sure really what they want to do. We're able to take them to the range, kind of, check things out. We do CPL classes with them. Being a female gun owner and a female gun shop owner, it's been really great and awesome to experience helping women buy their first gun. I get a lot of ladies that call, hey, I noticed the Google reviews and people are talking about working with Natalie. Does that mean there's a girl there? Are you the girl? Are you Natalie? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. So it's really cool to be able to help, a single mom that wants to be able to protect her kids at night, find her first handgun, or hey, I've never shot a gun before. I work downtown and I really want to be able to protect myself if anything happens. I've had a lot of great customers, a lot of great ladies come through that I've been able to help. And no offense to guys and to you guys, but a lot of times women don't want to talk to a man about a gun. They don't want to be told, hey, here's a pink 22 and, experience the whole, hey, maybe this isn't what you want experience. So it's been really great.
You bring up a great point. I mean, I've heard that I don't know how many times, whether it be guns, whether it be in archery, whether it be anything to do with the outdoors. Us guys, I mean, sometimes we're just a little bit cold and callous, and we really don't think that through that much. But I tell you what, I shot on the Eastern Michigan rifle team when I was in college.
Long time ago.
Go figure. Rifles on college campus. When did they stop that? That gives you an idea how old I am. Anyway,
old.
Our best shooters were females. I mean, they were bad. I mean, they tore it up. And I mean, just because it's a female does not mean they don't know how to shoot, guys. So stop that crap.
Right, exactly. So I want to ask how you guys got into this. Not every day does you find somebody and says, "Hey,
I want to open a gun store."
I want to open a gun store. How did you guys, get to where you are today?
We love.
Hold on. I'm gonna take this one. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So, before I met Jayson, he was a little bit of a city boy, I'm not going to lie. Like, I think he always kind of liked guns and hunting a little bit and stuff. But when we got together, I grew up in the sticks. So, like, my dad's a big hunter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, guns weren't a big deal in our family. Right. Kind of, we got together and, man, the second the kid got a gun in his hand, he took off and ran with it.
Nice.
We were buying guns. We were customizing guns. We got into building guns for friends of ours. And the next thing I know, he's like, hey, I want to get our FFL. I'm like, what are we going to do with that? He's like, we're going to sell guns. So before I knew it, he went like completely gun crazy on me. It's definitely his passion. I mean, I have never met anyone that will sit there and talk guns with you for all day long. I mean, really, like if you want to talk about any kind of gun, Jayson is your guy. Like, I love it. I like I was just talking about like the female aspect and like that part of it is really my I get on my soapbox about female gun owners and like that's my thing. But man, Jayson, all day long, you want to talk about guns, he's your guy. Like this is completely 100% his thing. And I look back and I can't even remember him not being into guns at this point.
Nice. You gotta like that. And he takes something you have a passion for, you pass it along to him, he took off running with it, he's got a passion for it. And
our kids are all about it now. We've got a 5-year-old daughter that if you ask her, one of these silencers are hers, and she's got a 22, and I've got a gun with a silencer, Mom.
Nice.
Like, yup, you tell them, Avery, you'll get them.
And that's something that as a child, I was brought up around firearms as well. Hunting family. My dad, he's from down south. Rich tradition in firearms. And I remember, when I was 5, 6 years old, I was introduced to them. back then didn't have a gun safe. We stored them in a gun cabinet. Sometimes they were in a closet, whatever. But I was never curious as to what they were. Don't touch them, all that. I mean, I didn't touch them unless they were around. But I mean, I was brought up around them. I was comfortable with them, and I did that with my own kids as well. And I'm to that point now with my grandkids. When they get of age, I'm going to make sure that they're taught responsible as well. But you have you said a 5-year-old, and you've introduced her to that. Talk a little bit about that and why that's so important. Maybe at an early age when they're ready for it.
I think taking the curiosity out of it helps kids. I know I've got a 13-year-old son too. We at an early age started to introduce him to guns, and definitely took the video games, TV curiosity out of it. Mm-hmm. Maybe it won't be as crazy and as cool for the kids trying to get into them on their own if you show them first.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, here's a perfect example. My son's in a Call of Duty, watched Call of Duty, played it, and in the game, the guy grabs an oil can and turns it into a suppressor, yanks it on the end of a gun. Well, as an FFL, I turned one of these into a suppressor legally. So, you know what I mean? Took a curiosity from him, and all of a sudden, he's out shooting with it and stuff like that. We're in a room full of guns. I mean, it's our gun safe in our basement, our gun room. The kids know they can shoot the guns down here anytime they want, but we're present.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have access to the room, you know what I mean? But anytime they want to go out, that curiosity isn't there because we're willing to go out. We'll shoot with them. We'll spend time with them shooting. My son's, into archery and stuff like that. My son likes to hunt. My son dropped an elk 2 years ago, which was awesome and stuff like that with one of our firearms we put together and stuff. So being able to really, share that with our kids and that passion with them. And Natalie's right, taking that curiosity out of them so it's not taboo to them. I mean, the kids should know what firearms are. They should respect them. They should understand what they do. They're not toys. You know what I mean? We don't use them to take our aggressions out on somebody. You know what I mean?
That's it, right? You
food on the table.
You took the curiosity out, and there's no reset button, right?
You're absolutely right. I mean, these kids are playing video games. They're seeing guns. They're seeing guns on TV and all these, cartoons and everything else. So our kids know what they do in real life. You know what I mean? You don't get back up. You don't respawn. You know what I mean? There's not a chance of that. And
exactly. So we have a picture. We have the picture up of the elk. What gun did you let him shoot that with?
He actually dropped it with a 450 Bushmaster with a silencer suppressor on.
Nice.
So yeah, he dropped it from about 85, 90 yards.
First time the kid's ever shot anything in his life, and he dropped an elk.
Wow.
Awesome
alrighty then.
Yeah.
You ruined him. You ruined him.
We've taken him hunting locally, and it was one of those kind of crab seasons that we didn't really see much. We made him sit in the stand with us a few times, and he was like, "Hey, Natalie, it'd be really cool if I could shoot a deer for my birthday." So I found a place on the west side of the state, Hidden Horns Game Ranch, which I highly recommend. It's out by Muskegon. Brent, the owner, is a great guy, but he does deals for kids. So we're like, hey, cool, we're going to go up, we're going to shoot this fallow deer. Mm-hmm. We're sitting in this stand, and not even 2 minutes later, this herd of cow elks come in. Next thing I know, Jayson's asking the guy, how much for him to shoot one of those?
Oh,
I'm
my.
Oh, my God. And, mind you, we have my Escalade. I thought we're bringing a deer home. I have, a tarp and a couple of totes. We're going to throw some dry ice in. Next thing I know, we have a cow elk and this fallow deer, and we're coming home with all this meat in the trunk of my Escalade. We're dropping it off at the place in Almont to get it processed, and they're looking at us where did you guys come from? What I mean?
Cool.
It was absolutely crazy, but one of the coolest experiences I've had in a long time hunting, for sure.
I tell you, that's what memories are made of, right?
It was great.
It took him a split second to shoot it, but the conversation in the blind, leading up to it, after, everything, that's all the memories to it.
And the meals afterwards, too, on top of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's delicious.
That is cool. It brings me up to my next question. You had a suppressor on the end of a hunting rifle.
Yep.
Why? I know the answer to this, but people who are listening or watching may not understand. Why is it so important that we start thinking in terms of putting a suppressor on a hunting rifle? I mean, go ahead and explain why we do that.
Yeah, so number one's hearing. You hear it so many times. I mean, I don't think anyone out there has ever shot a 450 Bushmaster. They're loud.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of velocity coming out of the end of that barrel, so we want to quiet them down. We suppress our hunting rifles. We suppress pretty much everything. Personally, we suppress our hunting rifles. Well, there goes the need to wear hearing protection. Now, It doesn't silence them like you see in the movies. They're not They're not that quiet. They still make a noise,
Right.
But it definitely brings down that need so you don't have to wear hearing protection. Natalie's actually got one of our 450s that actually has a suppressor on the end of it.
This is my one.
They're amazing firearms. Like I say, with the suppressor, with the suppressor on it, like I say, the noise factor it cuts down. And with these as well, it also cuts down the recoil, and does a lot of recoil management, because the idea is it takes the gas and actually puts it inside of the suppressor, which is a lot nicer. So like I say, recoil management's there, sound isn't there. How many times do we hear, older people, older hunters and stuff like that, they're losing hearing, shooting, guns and stuff like that all the time? Well, we don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about putting ear protection on. You want to take your kids out in the woods, the last thing you want to do is, hey, put the hearing protection on. Next thing you know, you spoke too loud and there goes that deer.
Right.
Or, there goes whatever you're trying to shoot. Well, take those out of the equation. We silence it so that it's, hearing safe. And, it's awesome. So it really is. Yeah. The 450s have become personal favorites of us. I mean, we love the guns, even outside of just, down here. And, we love the firearms all over Michigan. They're a great round in pretty much anything you want to.
And for anybody who's thought maybe of, using hunting rifle for deer management or for eliminating predators, I mean, like coyotes. We'll talk about the other later. But what I'm saying is when you get 2 or 3 or more come in, when you have a suppressed rifle, you're able to get that second, third shot off without all them running away. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing herd management like we do up at our place in Michigan here, and it gives you that opportunity for follow-up shots on multiple animals.
It does, especially like coyote hunting, use a 223 round or 300 blackout or something like that. It does. The rounds are a lot quieter. Actually, with the 450, my son shot a fallow deer. He actually missed his first shot. The deer didn't know what it was because the noise was so muffled that he actually got a second shot off in the deer, which was awesome. Not seeing a lot of guys out there miss and stuff like that, but I mean it does give me that. You're right, predator hunting's night and day difference with the suppressor and stuff like that. We were out coyote hunting a couple weeks ago. Suppressed rifles, it is a night and day difference. Like say the animals, you're right, they don't know they either don't know what it is. They don't hear as much because it muffles that sound. And you get more than one shot off, which is great.
Even for sighting in your rifle, I mean, There's been times we're running out somewhere and I'm like, oh crap, we forgot ears or whatever, and I'll just take a couple shots to make sure we're on. And man, your ears are ringing by the end of those couple of shots, and it's like, all right, I'm good. Like whatever it's at, I'm leaving it at it because I don't want to shoot again.
Well, I'll tell you what,
like home defense, another one too. We use a 300 blackout AR-15 for home defense, suppressed. Short barrel rifle. Inside the home, I got little kids, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, I'm going to start lighting off a rifle or a shotgun or whatever inside my home.
Right.
My hearing, I'm going to lose it real quick, depending on what kind of threat I'm dealing with.
Right.
I got to worry about my kids and stuff like that being, 10 feet away. There goes their hearing and stuff like that. So suppressed rifles in those instances, I mean, those encounters and stuff, they're amazing. So
I didn't even think about that, but you're spot on with that as well. But I tell you what, we're running up here on our first break. When we come back, since we're talking about suppressors, I want to continue in that conversation. So we're going to step outside real quick. We're going to take our first break, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show. Sitting here talking with Natalie and Jayson from Island Armory, and Natalie had to slip out for just a second, but she will be right back. So
making sure that the children are being behaved during the interview.
There you go.
If you want, Jay, why don't you give us where we can go check out your website? Give us that so people can go check you out, see what you got online.
Sure, it's theislandarmory.com. Pretty simple. Google us, The Island Armory. We pop right up. Our Google reviews, like Natalie said, extremely positive. We're extremely, customer service centric and stuff like that. Our website's full service. Streams everything we have. Streams from all our distributors. You can buy pretty much anything you want off the website. Contrary to popular belief, firearms don't ship to your home. They've got to ship to a gun store, either to us or another gun shop. We can ship wherever, anywhere in the country, as long as the firearm is legal in that state. We can definitely ship wherever it is. So
absolutely,
even if it's not local to us in Michigan here, we have no problem sending stuff up to other dealers or out to other dealers and stuff like that as well too.
And we got that website up on the screen, and we were taking a look at it. But yeah, get over there, check it out. They've got a bunch of things you can take a look at, from swag to transfers, what's going on at the store with your policies, some common questions. You can even shop by the brand. So get over there, check it out.
He's already starting to fill his little shopping cart over here. I think he's ordering some stuff.
Yeah, anything you want. So
I have enough ammo, said no one ever.
Exactly. And talk. I don't know. Do we want to chase a rabbit? Do you want me to jump on a soapbox or not?
Go for it. Why not?
We hear it so much, and I know you guys hear it too. In the media, they arrest somebody and caught them with 500 rounds of ammunition. I go, 500 rounds? I said, that doesn't even get me going for a day. I said, let alone with me and my 4 kids. I said, we can burn through, a couple thousand rounds of ammo if you're out there having fun, just, plinking around and doing some target shooting. What's your take on that?
10 minutes with a machine gun, not even. I mean,
right?
So as an FFL with our licensing, we can have fully automatic weapons.
Okay.
As a citizen, you can buy them, but they're a lot more expensive than the ones we can get our hands on. You've got to buy one that was made and manufactured before 1986, but that's probably a whole other conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie's right with the machine gun. We can burn through, ammunition pretty quickly.
Right.
In the room we're in right now, you guys can't see it, but behind there is where we store our ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
We probably have 10 to 15,000 rounds of ammunition down here at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
That's our personal stash. That's not store stash.
Right.
I'm a firm believer. I mean, we're seeing what it is right now with the ammunition, how hard it is to get. So I'm a firm believer in buying it when you can and stocking up on it because
you never know.
You never know. The government might come after ammunition because they can't come after guns. I mean,
right.
Who knows what's really going to happen with that kind of stuff. So.
Well, and it doesn't ever get any cheaper either.
It doesn't. It's only going to get more expensive. Unfortunately, we're hearing the ammo issues we're having now. We're not going to see get better anytime soon. Unfortunately, the supply constraints we're having are affecting the industry as far as our industry, ammunition, guns. They're having hiring issues. All the ammo manufacturers can't hire people to save their lives. So anyone's looking for a job, Remington's down there hiring, Winchester's hiring. They're only running 2 shifts. They're not even running full shifts and stuff like that.
Things are stuck on boats. We struggle right now. It's kind of crazy. Like everybody assumes, ammo shop or gun shops are gouging on the ammo and stuff. What used to cost us a certain amount costs us double, just like it's costing you double too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people understand that, the industry as a whole, things have just gone up in price. It's going to be a long time before you see that 12 cents around again on the 9mm. Trust me, I miss it too because I miss our supplier cost on it.
Right.
Like there ain't no gouging going on here. Like we're selling it for market price, and unfortunately, it is what it is right now. I wish it wasn't. Margins
are even tighter than what they were before, probably.
Back in June and July, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Biden actually outlawed ammunition. He basically outlawed anything coming in from Russia.
Yep.
A lot of AK guys out there, if you guys have any AK guys, they love shooting 7.62. 99% of it all came from Russia. Well, he banned importation of anything from Russia because of whatever's going on politically and stuff like that. So all of a sudden that shut down that huge supply of ammunition. So those ammo companies are now working to get over to Romania and to South Korea and other countries where it's legal. But how long that's going to take? Yes, the price of that went up as well. So
it's crazy.
It's unfortunate.
So 500 rounds of ammunition, like I said,
blink of an eye,
just starts a good time. So, I know I was going to ask you before. I do want to get back to talking about suppressors, but it made me think. You're talking about storing ammunition, having some on hand for a later use. If you're buying up some ammunition and you're putting it on your shelf and you're not using it for a while, what's the average shelf life? I mean, you hear people saying, "Well, we found some old ammunition, we shot it, and it didn't fire." Do primers they go bad after a certain amount of time? I mean, how long do you let?
I mean, the thing we tell people is a cool, dry place is they got wet. Is there moisture?
The little silicone packets that you find when you open like whatever random item you bought from Walmart or Meijer.
You can buy them on Amazon in bulk. Store them with your ammunition. It'll keep all that moisture out of them.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's the biggest thing you'll see. Look for rust on rounds and stuff like that. I mean, I have some of my, great-grandfather's 30-30 rounds I've still shot. I mean, they still shoot, you know what I mean? It just depends how well the ammunition's cared for. But like I say, moisture is the biggest thing to it. It's guns' biggest enemies, rust and politicians. Same thing with, ammunition. So.
Oh, that's good. I'll have to remember that one. In the brass getting tarnished, it'll tarnish over time. Sometimes it causes some ammunition maybe to stick, is on ejection. I've had some issues before with some older ammunition feeling dirty. It wasn't a reload. I mean, they're actually factory boxes. Is that the same thing with silicone? Is that just moisture that's causing that tarnish on a brass?
Yeah, I mean, just, you know what I mean? Especially if you see that, depending what the round is, see if you can clean it up a little bit, see how bad it's on there or something like that. But yeah, it'll definitely, if you can keep that moisture and stuff like that out of the rounds, the shelf life's going to be a lot more. So obviously keep it somewhere that's cool and dry, you know what I mean? Don't store it in, a hole in the ground in a cardboard box or something like that where it's going to get stuff like that. So try to keep it, cool and dry and be good. And we've had people give us, rusted rounds and stuff like that. And they're like, can I still fire these? And it's like, no, I would do that. But it's your own prerogative if you want to.
Right.
I don't know, store them in, the middle of a lake or something like that.
Right. No, I got you. And kind of like transitioning back now to suppressors, and before the show we talked a little bit. One thing that I'm really interested in when purchasing one, and I've heard of a few people doing this, do you purchase it for yourself, or you can purchase it for yourself, obviously because you got to get the tax stamp, but also I've heard them taking and doing the proper paperwork and actually putting them into a trust. Talk a little bit about that, if you can, about that process of one versus the other, why you'd want to do that.
On our website, we actually have one of the links. I actually shoot you to.
We have a guy.
We have a guy. Yeah, we got a guy. He'll actually do a trust for you. So if you want a trust, he'll put it together. So that link's on our website. I think he's like $50-$60. He's pretty inexpensive for it. Okay. He's actually a firearms attorney out of Texas, so he does a really good job with them. As an individual, that item, that NFA item, is only your item. If, say, I had just a suppressor in my name, Natalie was ever at the gun range with it, technically it's illegal because I have to be in possession of that firearm. Now, with a trust, there's one downfall to a trust. The process to approve the tax stamp takes a little longer. But
everybody has to sign and get fingerprinted.
Everyone's got to go through the background process. So anyone that's on the trust gets fingerprinted, and same process. But anyone on the trust can own and possess whatever items are in that trust at any given time. So there's that ability, which is amazing. You can pass it down to your children. Mm-hmm. Like we have beneficiaries in our trust and stuff like that. But we do all of our personal NFA items are all in a trust. So we have them passed down and stuff like that. They would go to, actually my dad, they would go to him and stuff like that. If something were to happen to us, until our kids get to be 21, then they can own them, then they would go to the kids and stuff like that. So we highly recommend a trust as far as that goes. But some people want to do an individual. If you have no one in your life that is into guns as much as you are, and you're not worried about that, then absolutely do it as an individual. Whoever in your life ends up coming and cleaning out your house, they'll just have to call the ATF or local gun shop, and somebody will come get them at some point.
Right? Can you do it? Can you do it in that fashion? Can you get it for yourself and then put it into a trust, or does it all have to be done at one time?
You can. So it's another $200. So
Gotcha.
The tax costs $200. So you want to put it in your individual name. When you want to transfer it to that trust, you pay a $200 tax stamp to the government.
Okay.
To do stuff.
All right.
It's better if you're going to do it, just do it up front.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So let's say I get one individually for one of my firearms or whatever. Anyway, so it's in my name. Danny says, man, I'd really like to have one of those. Would you consider selling that to me? And because maybe I want to buy something a little better. Is there a process to where an individual can sell one to another individual through the proper paperwork?
Yeah, so you would do the same process that we do to sell it to a customer. You would complete an ATF Form 4 from the seller to the buyer. Now, the seller holds on to that suppressor until that tax stamp comes back.
Gotcha.
So, that's the thing is, you got to trust them, because once that tax stamp come back in their name, it's theirs. So either they're paying you ahead of time or they're paying you after. You better make sure you're getting payment. You know what I mean? There's that. There's not a huge secondary market for suppressors because of that reason.
Okay.
If you wanted to sell it to me as a shop or us to shop, same process. You would have to transfer it to a Form 4 to us, even though we have our licensing to be able to have it. And it's that waiting period. It's a lot quicker to come to us to shop, but it's still a waiting period. You know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
They kind of killed the market on it.
It is. So there's really not a huge secondary market on suppressors, unfortunately. There's not a resale value on them, really.
Sometimes we get demo cans, like if you're like looking for a deal and stuff, like finding a shop that, has a licensing like we do, and you're trying to get, kind of like a cheaper being used can, like a used market, that's really only your opportunity. Right now, speaking of discounts, there's some really, really, really great deals going on. If you're looking to become a suppressor owner, now is the best time that I've ever seen it since we've been doing this stuff to be able to get into the market. There's a couple of different companies that are doing deals. Silencer Co. is doing a deal where you buy one and you get one free.
You just pay a tax stamp on the second.
Yep, you pay the tax stamp on the second one. There's different companies that are doing free tax stamps. There's different companies that are doing gift cards back if you buy their suppressors. The first company that I mentioned, Silencer Co., they make a hybrid model, which is honestly, it's the best beginner can and it's the best all-around can. It's something that you can take from your 450 Bushmaster. You can do a different little insert inside the can, throw it on your 9mm or 45 handgun, and then, hey, guess what? You know what? I want to shoot my 5.56 rifle or 300 Blackout later on. I can throw it on there too. All it takes is just different little end caps with your thread pitch from your barrel. So you can literally, it's the all-around can. They run around $800 and you pay your $200 tax stamp and you've got a $1,000 can that you can put on pretty much anything up to a 45-70. And right now at this moment, if you buy that, you get a free can with it.
So that's the hybrid one, right?
$1
That's the hybrid one, correct?
Yes, the hybrid.
Yep. You got it up on the screen right now?
Model that we sell.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We have 3 of them, I think, personally.
Honestly, that's probably the way. I mean, I've not done a ton of research, but from what little I know about them and looked at them, that would probably be the way I would want to go. Because to me, it just seems smart. It seems versatile. Being able to switch it from different calibers and different guns.
It does, and honestly, suppressors they're a gateway drug. I feel like once you get one, every one of your guns has their own. Like we have people tell us it all the time. I'm just gonna buy one. I'll have it all over the place. They get them, and next thing you know,
I'm counting the wall next to Jayson.
So right next to us is a wall of some of our firearms. Every one of these guns has its own suppressor on it. They have their own, they own with it because we just don't want to take one off and move it to the other, or one might work with a different, caliber and stuff better.
We started with a hybrid.
Okay.
I was like, do we really need this? I questioned. I'm like, that's a lot of money. Like I was probably being, a little bit like this, stickler about it. Like, do we really need this? Jason's like, oh, it'd be awesome. We're going to get the silencer. It's going to make the guns quieter. You're going to love it. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, we'll see. So we bought a hybrid. That was our first suppressor we bought. And honestly, after we got to the point where we were switching around all the guns, it was awesome. But I was totally on board. I was like, you know what? We're going to dedicate a can to each gun. We're going to try some different brands. We're going to get different models. We're going to do all of this stuff. Like, he's right. Like, once you get one of them and you see how awesome it is, especially when you shoot outside, you're not at a range, and you don't have to have your hearing protection on, and you've just got this little bit of extra weight. I mean, it's not bad at all. Like, it's 100% worth it. It's awesome.
The first
time kids love shooting 22. We throw suppressors on 22. The Ruger 1022s are amazing. Subsonic rounds, it sounds like a BB gun. You know what I mean?
It's the closest thing you're gonna get to the movie silencers when they're like, shoo, 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 like real quiet. Like a 22 with a can on it. That's the closest you're gonna get to the movies. It's awesome.
And then buy one get one free.
So your second can, you get a 9mm or a 45 or a 22. There's certain models that your free model is.
Okay.
But yes, you can buy one, you pay your tax stamp, and then you get the free suppressor, and you just have to pay this tax stamp on it.
Nice.
So,
I know the first time I shot a gun suppressed, I was so amazed. I was in an indoor range, a 4-lane range, and guns just booming inside that thing. And I was with a rep from Sig Sauer, and he had a can on the front, 300 Blackout, and I believe it might even have been an SBR. I can't remember the model. But anyway, long story short, he's like, you want to shoot? I was doing a video shoot for my work, and I just said, yeah, I really want to shoot it, and I was wearing hearing protection while we were doing all this, and he's like, you don't need that, and I'm like, you're kidding me, even in here? He goes, no, he said, you saw me, he said, I wasn't wearing hearing protection, so I stepped up to the line, and after I did a quick double tap, and I turned my head to him, and I just smiled. I said, this is awesome, because I have hearing problems. I've got tinnitus. So I'm really picky about, trying to keep what little bit I've got left. And it is, like you said, I can see how it can become an addiction to putting different ones, or having one dedicated to each one. It's just amazing.
It is. 300 Blackout's one of our favorite rounds to shoot. Unfortunately, it's expensive right now. Subsonic rounds in a 300 Blackout. So you've got your subsonic rounds and your supersonic rounds. Your subsonic rounds don't break that sound barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Subsonic rounds in a 300 Blackout rifle are extremely quiet. They're a phenomenal coyote round or any sort of predator round and stuff like that. They're a super fun round to use on that. But 300 Blackout, like say the subsonic rounds suppressed, are so quiet. It's so much fun to shoot. It brings up another level of enjoyment with it because you're not, you don't have these big sweaty head, these earmuffs and stuff like that on. It's just, it brings a lot more enjoyment to it and stuff like that.
Well, that helps you. Well, what that does then is that helps you get your family out. It takes away that big loud boom that everybody's going to be afraid of. It just makes it all around more enjoyable to enjoy with the family.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, even on the range, if you've got youngsters out there you're trying to teach to shoot, you don't have the headgear on. You don't see them pulling their headgear off, putting it back on, off and on. You're trying to communicate to them. Communication is going to be a lot more clear on the range and getting commands across, even to other adults.
No, absolutely. Now, there's some larger calibers you still have to wear hearing protection and stuff like that on, but, your most, like you say, your 223s, your, 300 Blackouts, your 22s, they're, you know what I mean? They're a lot more, they're hearing safe and stuff like that, which is great.
I think I mentioned earlier, a 5-year-old, she's got a Ruger Charger with a suppressor on the end, and that kid loves that gun. It is her gun. Last summer, so the Island Armory is based on the fact that Jayson's parents own an island on Lake St. Clair out by Algonac.
Okay.
So when we started the business, the name just kind of, it'd be kind of cool, give a little nod to the place that, we spend most of our time, the island.
Sure.
Like we just call it the island, so it became the Island Armory. And when we're out at the island, Avery loves to shoot her little guns out there, and that's her suppressor, it's her gun, and I don't think without the can on the end of it wouldn't. We'd have hey, put your ears on, and hey, everybody around, kind of protect your ears a little bit. Like it takes that whole protection aspect of it, and you can really just focus on the kids being able to shoot the gun and learn the safety with the gun, and not so much worrying about this big bulky thing on their ears that they can't hear you behind.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, we're bumping up on our next break here. When we come back,
we got to talk about what they're giving away.
That's right. You got a giveaway going on, so we'll cover that, and we'll dive a little more back into maybe customizing some guns.
Perfect.
All right, so we're going to step outside, take our next break. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back. Third segment of the show. Man, we're having a lot of fun talking about guns and suppressors and ammunition and everything that goes bang. So
right, we are, and you know what? We're coming. We talked about this beginning of the show. We're coming into the Christmas season. Natalie and Jayson got something going on really good over at their Facebook page, the Island Armory. If you want to talk about what you want to do, do you know a bro or broette?
Yeah, we so in the spirit of giving, on our Facebook and Instagram right now, we are giving away a free shotgun. We know
with ammo.
With some ammo. So it's been a hard year. Last year was terrible. This year it's been a little bit better, but not really that great in terms of what's going on in the world. And we thought it'd be great to kind of give back to someone who might be in need. I know we kind of joke around in the post that we made, if your wife or your husband's a liberal and they don't like guns, or if your gun you want is stuck on a ship out in California because of Biden, we want to help you out. But we really, we're looking to have people kind of enter and just, hey, we've had a rough year, or nominate someone who has had a rough year and you'd love to see get a free gun. We've done a lot of giveaways in the past and had really great success with them. We, we like to give back to the community. It's all about the people who come into the shop. And I know Jayson and I both really want, the guns to be out in the world. We want more gun owners out there, and whatever we can do to help make that happen.
So literally check us out, Instagram, Facebook, the Island Armory. Enter in either way. I believe it ends.
We're gonna let Avery pick. So
yeah,
our 5-year-old daughter.
Okay, so.
I'm actually everybody who enters is going to get a slip of paper. I'm doing it old school, and we're gonna let our daughter, throw on a Santa hat and pick the winner. So
right, you're gonna run.
It ends the 20th. So if you're not local to us down here, we'll ship it to your gun shop wherever you are. You'll just have to cover the transfer fee or whatever they charge and stuff like that. But even if you're not in Michigan, as long as it's a 12 gauge, it should be legal everywhere. But I'm not familiar with California and all their loony nonsense. But as long as it's illegal in your state and stuff like that, we have no problem shipping it wherever it goes.
So do you go in the comment section and comment about who you want to nominate?
Go in the comment section, nominate yourself, nominate someone else. If you want to tell a story or something like that to kind of help your cause out, more power to you and stuff like that. Make sure you like our Facebook page or our Instagram page. Yep. If you want to share it out with your friends to get more people involved, that'd be awesome. So
get on over to their Facebook page. Get in the right-hand column. You'll see it. It's got a beautiful picture of a G-Force 12-gauge shotgun, and they're even going to throw in some buckshot to go with it. Get over there. Nominate somebody that you think deserves it for the year so Island Armory can give back.
There you
go. We
go.
run sales on our Instagram and Facebook all the time. It's the holidays. We'll probably do some more stuff coming up soon. We've got some stuff going on our website right now. I believe it's on sale. Guns are going like crazy right now from us, but definitely we keep running sales, and we've got a few things up our sleeve to run for the holidays. So definitely check us out and stuff like that on there.
All right. Well, kind of shifting gears just a little bit here. We want to talk about some guns and doing some customized, because you guys, you said you're kind of that boutique style of offering as far as getting things customized or accessorized or whatever you want to do. So I've got an AR, 5.56 that it's just a standard model, and I want to jazz it up a little bit. Maybe coyote hunt with it. What are you going to recommend? If it's a Bushmaster or whatever. What would you recommend to make it a little more versatile, maybe a little more accurate as far as doing maybe a little night hunting even, because that's legal here in Michigan for coyotes.
Yeah, for sure. So this is actually one of Natalie's ARs. This one's actually been painted. It's got snow camo on it. Local guy out of Clinton Township does all of our Blown Deadline, does all of our Cerakote. He's amazing at that stuff.
He's a great guy. If anybody's looking to get their gun hooked up with some Cerakote, some paint on it, go see Mike over at Blown Deadline. He's awesome.
Yeah. So this kind of stuff we can do to it. We sell a full range. This is not a night optic on this one or thermal or anything like that. We sell a full array of all of that stuff as well. We can definitely hook them up with that.
What kind of charging handle do you have on it? Maybe it's stock. Maybe it's mil-spec. Maybe it's kind of crappy. Maybe we can help you upgrade that. What kind of trigger do you have? Do you have a mil-spec trigger? I mean, there's some great options out there in terms of upgrading that.
Is it suppressed?
Yes.
Most importantly.
That's our biggest thing we definitely are going to push. But, I mean, your furniture on it, if you're looking to give it a different look, maybe a different handguard. We do a lot of really cool stuff with rifles that people, I don't even know if they think it's possible that they can even do on their own. Bring it on in. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it. What do you want to do with it? We build rifles from scratch. We actually have our own Island Armory lowers. We're waiting for our next batch to come in right now. You're going to go to the store. You're going to spend anywhere from $600 to $900 on a, regular plain Jane M&P Ruger 5.56. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking them. They're great rifles. But, for the same price range, we can build you something custom that's going to be yours, that you help design. It's going to have all that great Magpul furniture. It's going to have an even better trigger in it. It's, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to pay a store price when there's something out there that you could get better.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what I've started thinking about. I bought an AR years ago, and it was just something I wanted to build for a coyote rifle. And it's plain. I mean, plain as plain can be. And then I started looking at a buddy of mine I work with, or used to work with, and we started talking about firearms. And he's like, dude, you get a lower and get an upper, and you can put something together that's a heck of a lot better. that you can totally customize, and instead of just going to the store.
Triggers are the biggest thing out there too. Natalie kind of hit on it. Like triggers and charging handles, they're the easiest upgrades out there to do, and they make a ton of difference in your rifles. Your rifles, your pistols, whatever you're using or something like that. I mean, those are great upgrades to do, and can definitely help out with it.
And your optics. I mean, there's a million different optic options out there. I mean, it's something that's another. Maybe you just have like flip up sights on it right now and you want to get a real optic on it. Like, hey, let us help you out. I think people go into stores and get a little intimidated if you're not really familiar with stuff. Sometimes even dude to dude talking. I know we were talking about women talking to men earlier and being intimidated.
Right.
I know guys don't like to admit that they might not know, everything they need to know about something when it comes to a gun. So it is a little intimidating to walk up to the counter and be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Like, no, like, hey, reach out. Like, let's talk about it. Hey, you know nothing about optics? Sweet. Let's talk about them. See what you're wanting to do with it and let us help you out. Like, there's, you know what I mean? I think, and like I said, like, don't take it wrong, but, guys talking to guys, even you guys, you know what I mean? You don't want to admit you don't know something sometimes.
Well, I always say there's no stupid question. If you don't know something, ask somebody who does. It doesn't mean you're any less of a person because you don't know it.
No, absolutely.
100%.
Educate yourself.
We're lucky to live in Michigan. We've got Trigicon here. We have EOTech here. We have some awesome Michigan-based companies that are world-renowned for what they do and stuff like that. So it's awesome to have it here, especially for people that want to buy those, those Michigan products and stuff like that. They're here.
Even handguns. We have, Jaegerworks is here. They're one of the best optic cuts and slide cuts companies out there. I mean, they're right here in Michigan. Like, we do a lot of custom handgun builds, SIGs, Glocks. We've even taken Tauruses and other things and, help somebody, like, we're kind of play the middleman, but help somebody design the gun of their dreams. I mean, hey, I want really cool slide cuts on it. Hey, I want it to be Cerakoted whatever color. Hey, I want this trigger. Hey, I want extended mags. I want this kind of mag. Whatever you're thinking, you know what I mean? Like, we can help you build it. We'll take the time. We have the knowledge, and we'll take your handgun and make it into whatever you want.
Well, that's what Mike and I, doing this show and this podcast, that a lot of it is that it's we're learning by you guys telling us because we don't know. We got some kind of idea, but it's like we meet a couple like you at a show and say, hey, let's get you on, get informative to the people out there that listen to us, and that way it just helps everybody. And it just,
So, like, here's someone she's talking about. This is a Glock 19. I'm not pointing at Natalie. She's way behind me. Don't worry. So there's none of that.
That's right. No muzzle stroking.
That's the Glock 19 that has been extremely customized. It's got an RMR optic on it, flashlights on it, all optic cuts and stuff like that done on it. All laser stippling on the grip and stuff like that as well. So it's completely been customized, painted, everything like that. So, these are tons of options and stuff like that as well that we can do and, hook up and, help people out with and stuff like that.
So if you want the gun of your dreams, give Island Armory a call.
We can help out with them.
Right. Question, do you do handgun and gun repairs?
We don't. We've got a couple of great people we recommend. Pransky Gunworks and D&D. A couple of great gunsmiths out there. We don't get into it. I'm not a gunsmith. Yeah, we're good with all that.
We don't reload ammo. I'm good on that.
Yeah, ammunition's a whole nother ballpark. We don't do that as well. But we've got some great industry partners that we'll highly recommend, and they'll be able to take care of you.
Perfect.
Okay, I got a question for you. This was a debate between, not a debate so much, but a discussion between the person I told you I used to work with. And we were talking about gun builds and what our personal carry sidearm is that we whatever preference that is, whether it's a 45 or a 40 or whatever. And he's of the mindset of building with an upper and lower the same caliber style of rifle as he uses with his sidearm. Just for having the same ammunition, for that versatility, customizing and getting, that accept the same mag well. The mag well accept the same mag as well. So, thoughts on that?
Preference?
So we have, the personal preference.
Yeah.
We have AR9s that accept Glock magazines. We built, we've done a couple of those. They're great. I like the AR-15s with either a 5.56 round or a 300 Blackout round. And then personal carries, we both carry a 9mm. We're comfortable with them. We know they work. Good ammunition. I'm not a big fan of having my sidearm take the same mag as my rifle. I don't really think it matters. I'm looking at a rifle more, I'm going to go a little longer distance with it. A 9mm round's not going to do what I want with that sort of thing, where that's what my handgun's for, you know what I mean? So two different things there. Some of the AR-9s we built, so it would be an AR-15 that accepts a 9mm.
Yep.
They're fun. They're great, but we wouldn't push them out. You're talking, 150 yards or so. You're not pushing it out much farther than that. So
yeah, not for a hunting situation, but for strictly for like home defense.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it. Like say, we use 300 Blackout and 12 gauge personally for home defense.
Okay.
We know how to use them. We know what they do. Right ammunition and stuff like that inside of them. We have handguns upstairs. We have 9mm handguns upstairs for self defense as well.
So we teach CPL classes. I always tell people, whatever you think you can use best. If your friend believes that a 9mm carbine or whatever, their 9mm, pistol or whatever it is, if that's their best option, that's their best option. I don't dog anyone for whatever brand or whatever, configuration they think is the best for them, because you know what? As long as you get out and train with it, I think you're fine. Like for us at nighttime, I wear contacts. I have astigmatism. I am blind as a bat. If somebody breaks into our house at night, I'm reaching for that 12 gauge because I need that splatter pattern.
Right.
I'm not going to be able to aim a handgun at somebody and hope like hell I actually hit them and not a wall or something else.
Right.
There's a lot of different options out there. Whatever you choose to protect yourself, you know what? Good for you. That's your protection, and that's hopefully what you're training with and what you're preparing yourself to protect yourself with. So I agree with Jayson for our own personal views. We've got a wall of rifles and a wall of SPRs sitting here, but you know what? If your friend thinks that's their best option and they like having all the same ammo, you know what? I won't dog them, because having different ammo calibers, having to mark the boxes and stuff, it kind of sucks. I get it. But if you want to go all 9, that's your own deal, and hey, good for you.
Okay. Well, we debated back and forth at work one night, or actually several times, but I don't know. I understand it, but I don't understand it. So I just wondered maybe I was missing something.
Yeah.
Just like people like Biden, we can't decide what's the better to do.
Enough said.
Right. Go figure.
That's good stuff. I'll tell you what. On that note, we're going to take our last break, and we'll come back. And in the last segment, we'll maybe chase a couple rabbits and wrap up the show. So we're going to step outside, take our last break. We'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Last segment of the show.
Last segment of the show. Man, we've covered a lot of ground tonight. Anything, Danny, any questions you got that you haven't really thought about before now?
No, I think we've pretty much covered them all, except for we got to ask a couple of typical questions of our new interviewees.
Right.
We'll save for that. But one question I do have that when you buy a suppressor and you have, what does it take to attach it to the gun that you want to put it on?
It depends.
Different brands, different
Yeah,
problems.
so there's different mounts too. There's different mounts. So if you have a handgun, your handgun has to have a threaded barrel. If you have anything's got to have a threaded barrel. How about that? So it's got to have a threaded barrel on whatever firearm host you're putting it on. On the suppressor itself, some are direct thread, which means they'll screw right on. Some suppressors have only one thread that screws onto. Some have different mounts. So it really depends on what it is. Natalie mentioned the hybrid. It's got plethora of different mounts. It'll mount to all sorts of different firearms, depending on what it is. It mounts to a 450 Bushmaster. It'll mount to a 9mm handgun. It'll mount to a 4570, lever action gun. It'll mount to all sorts of different stuff. So depending on what the suppressor is, It's most likely going to be a mount that it needs, some sort of mount, and then a threaded barrel.
So then you would do the threaded barrel then? You would. That's what you.
We wouldn't. We would, if it's a rifle and needs to be threaded, well, we will send it out to get it threaded. If it's a handgun,
you can easily swap those out with a different.
As long as the handgun, we can find a threaded barrel for it. Some companies they don't make threaded barrels for them, but
Yeah, reach out. If there's a question about it, I mean, we'd be more than happy. Trust me, we've been through the gamut of the different brands. We get demo cans all the time, different mounts. Jayson's extremely spoiled. He already opened his Christmas present, got his new suppressor I got him. So now we've got cherry bomb suppressor mounts. So we're all over the place. We love trying out new products. We love staying in front of the market and knowing what's coming next. So, if somebody's out there looking for a suppressor and you have questions, just reach out. I mean, if you call the shop, Jayson and I Jayson answers me 20% of the time, but 80% of the time he'll talk to me. And then, if it's something that I'm questioning, hey, let me research it, take a minute, take a look at it, and we'll figure it out for you. There's a lot of different stuff on the market, so
exactly. And I just wanted to go over that just for somebody that was thinking, well, they got a gun sitting in their gun locker, and they're like, I want to get a suppressor. What do I need to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're not tied to one brand. Like say, there's multiple different brands. We own multiple different brands personally. We've tried them out. We know what we like. We know what works for us. But we definitely recommend certain stuff. But we're not tied to any one brand. We can get pretty much any brand that's out there. So a lot of great suppressor companies. We help with all the paperwork, the process behind it, all that in house and stuff like that.
We do your fingerprints and your photos right in house. There's a lot of places they'll send you to the police station to get them done. We're one-stop shopping.
Yep, so exactly. That's one thing I liked about
everything is done right in shop.
That's why I like talking with you guys at Woods and Water when we met. That we talked about that, and you don't have to be going all over the countryside to get something. You just make one phone call, one visit, come see you guys. You'll take care of it, A to Z. It's all good.
Get your hair and nails done at the same place.
Only on Fridays.
There you go.
Oh, that's good stuff right there. I want to change gears just a little bit. We talked a little bit about it before the show, and I don't want to preach doom and gloom. I don't want to get way off in the weeds, but with recent happenings here in Michigan, and we all know what we're talking about with the school down the road here recently, and everything that happened there, we've got. And it happens across the nation, and you've got people that are freaking out about guns. The current state of affairs in guns. I mean, looking ahead, as a gun store and gun owner, do you see the glass as half full or half empty, and where are we headed?
Great question. So Michigan just introduced a magazine ban this morning to limit magazine capacity to 10 rounds, which I don't think is going to go anywhere. It would not have done anything to stop what happened in this most recent tragedy. The young man would have used a fourth magazine instead of 3 magazines. You know what I mean? It wouldn't have done anything to stop this.
Right.
Are they going to keep coming after guns? Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen with that? The Supreme Court's reviewing a case right now as far as carry in New York. New York is a state where not everyone gets a CPL. You have to show a need to have a CPL in the state of New York, which means you carry large amounts of cash, or you've got some money to pay the police chief. And compared to a law-abiding citizen that might work at night in a diner and is scared of walking home at night, they wouldn't get a firearm, which is completely wrong. I don't think that anyone has a right to take your God-given ability to protection away. And that is what the Second Amendment was for, is you have every right to protect yourself and your family and your loved ones. And I don't think the government should have the ability to take that away from you at all. And as a company, we believe that, you know what I mean? My wife's out. She should have a right to a firearm. Now are there jackasses out there that are ruining it? Sorry for the...
That's all right. It is what it is.
You're okay.
Are there people out there that are ruining the rest of us and stuff like that? Absolutely. Do they need to be dealt with? Yeah, but I mean, I think this needs to be dealt with, in a lot different way than what they're dealing with it now.
I think, and I'm going to interrupt, I think a lot of the problem has to do with mental health in our country. I think the kid I'm not trying to take away from the tragedy at all. It's terrible what happened. I cannot imagine being one of those parents. Like, I start to cry every time I see the text messages and all the other stories coming out about how terrible it was.
Right.
But I think the problem is mental health. I don't think that anyone had recognized that he had issues soon enough and helped him deal with them. I mean, we have hundreds of guns in our home and at our shop, and not a single one of them has left the premise on its own and gone and shot anyone. It's
Right.
the person behind the gun that is the issue. And until we stand up as a country and try to help people with their own mental health issues, it's not going to get any better. I mean, there's all types of laws and background checks and everything out there for purchasing a gun. And if you're a criminal, you can walk up to Pookie's trunk in the back alley of some diner somewhere and purchase one out of there. Like, it's not, you don't have to go through the right channels to get a gun in this country.
You can even go through the right channels. We dealt with the ATF recently. We helped bust a sting of criminals in Detroit that were getting staked. They were actually doing identity fraud. They were taking your identification, your credit card, buying guns online, having them shipped into shops. Well, they came in with an amazing fake ID.
With their photo on it, with your name.
With your name, and they were passing background checks.
I actually chased a young gentleman out of the shop one day when he admitted to me that somebody had paid him $500 to come into the shop and get the gun.
Wow.
I mean, if you really want a gun that bad and you're savvy enough to do it and you're like one of these kids who, if you took that initiative and put it into something good, like, holy hell, what good could you do in the world?
Right.
But instead you came up with this scheme. I mean, there is so many different ways in the world to be a shyster and scam the system, and those kids figured it out. I mean, impose all the laws you want, but somebody's going to come up with some different way to get around them.
My last point I'll make on it, I promise I'll stop. We need to allow teachers to be armed if they want to be.
Yep.
How much different would that situation have been if there was a teacher that was a legal concealed carrier, trained, knew what they were doing? How quickly would they have ended that situation? We saw the kid gave up as soon as he saw police with firearms. Well, guess what? What if a teacher pulled a gun on him? What if they used it to stop that? So, you can't go on school property legally with a firearm concealed, even though you are legally allowed to carry. But guess what?
Right.
He threw it in his backpack and did the same thing. If the Michigan legislature, countrywide, the government needs to work on that and get rid of that nonsense so that teachers can carry. If you want to impose extra training on them, however you want to do that, teachers should be able to carry. Parents should be able to carry that have done that same sort of thing. I should be able to carry a firearm on my son's school. I'm no threat to anyone. I've gone through more background checks than anyone around to own, to have all the licensing and stuff like that. People should be able to carry firearms to protect their children.
Take it away from being a soft target.
Yes.
Exactly. And I'm going to agree with you on the mental health thing. It seems every time there's something of this caliber that happens, it's the first thing is they want to go after the guns because they figure the guns ran down the street to do the problem.
But you don't go after Ford or GM when somebody runs their car into someone.
Well, that's the whole point. So then as soon as somebody brings up mental health, it gets really quiet.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, well, no, it's the gun's fault.
And let's take it a step further. Parents don't want to admit that their child has a problem sometimes. They'll turn a blind eye to it, and then it's too late. And it's like if you just stepped in and admitted the fact that somebody might need a little help every now and then. There's nothing to be ashamed about if that's the case.
No, and also, too, I think our criminal justice system, is completely back-asswards. We have these nonviolent offenders who are in jail for years and years for weed when now weed's legal. Let them out. But we have these violent offenders who the criminal justice system knows they're fucked in the head.
Yep.
Sorry. Knows they've got problems. We're letting them out of jail. I mean, we just saw what happened in Minnesota. We just saw what happened in Wisconsin with the guy driving the car through the raid. Why was he out of jail?
Exactly.
Why are we doing background checks on firearms for people when, guess what? They can get a car, they can get a knife, they can get whatever they want to commit a crime.
Yep.
Why are we letting these people out on the streets? Why aren't we locking them up and throwing away the key?
Well,
when focusing on those violent offenders and not dealing with the nonviolent ones and letting the nonviolent ones,
Problem is, too, with the mental health situation. I mean, I went to college with Colin Rose, the Wayne State officer that was killed 5 years ago. The guy is still in a mental health facility. He's never faced charges because he was found mentally incapable of standing trial. I mean, somebody who, they've tried time and time again to prove that he was, not, he was of well-being and knew what he was doing, is hiding behind that defense, too. I mean, I know I'm always, devil's advocate and things, but people use it in the wrong capacity, which I think also portrays, onto society, hey, well, these people, we got to shelter them and protect them too. It gives it like the wrong direction. Like, I think there's a lot of different misconceptions out in the world, and I would love to see somebody, and I have no idea how to fix it, but somebody come up with a great idea of, addressing this for our country. I think this is truly the problem that we're having.
Right.
No, I agree. And I think one other thing they need to do, and this is my own opinion, is they need to have a gun, I'll call it a safety class in school
Yes.
Because
you guys brought up earlier, I mean, hunting back in the day, you had a you had a club in school. Gun safety is no longer taught in school. I mean, they don't even, it's not even addressed. I mean, we've got kids in the Lamphere district. We've reached out and said, hey, we're NRA certified instructors. We would love to do this free of charge, and they're like, nah, we're good with that. My son, we took a group of 10 or 12 kids to the range. We've done it a couple times, and we love doing it. You know what I mean? We're showing the kids guns in a safe environment. We're showing them how to use them, showing them how to be safe with them. Kids need that. They need, hunter safety. They need firearm safety. They need to know that you don't get back up when you pull that trigger. And, again, you shouldn't be using
It's not a video game.
It's not a video game. You shouldn't be using a gun to take your anger out.
Yes, take the curiosity out of it for them and introduce them to them the right way.
Exactly, and that's my point is, if they come across a gun, walking across the field to the school, whatever it's laying there, they recognize it and know what to do or not to do. Because, like you said, it's not the video game that you can pick up, shoot the gun sideways, and roll around and hit reset.
No. No, it's not. And they're curious about it. You know what I mean? They've been told they might be taboo in their home. It might be, no, you can't have guns. You can't touch guns. Stay away from them. Well, guess what? That kid's going to be a hell of a lot more curious because you told him no. I mean,
absolutely.
All of us with alcohol back in the day, we were all told, no, you can't drink. You know what I mean? Same sort of thing.
And my mom's watching, who took us to, a rehabilitation center as children, trying to scare us away from alcohol. It didn't work, Mom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different things in the world that can try to deter people from stuff. And with guns, there's always going to be that thrill and the fun of it. Yep. I mean, why do we love them? They're fun.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure that you're raising your kids the right way to know that fun needs to be responsible fun.
You said the magic word.
Yeah.
Responsibility.
You do not shoot that gun unless you have to. Or if you're at the range, you know what you're aiming at. You know what's behind your target. I mean, I'm getting on my NRA instructor soapbox here. But you know what I mean? There's a lot of different things in the world that people need to know and learn about being a gun owner. And kids need it. Right up front, they need it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And it needs to be reinforced. You know what I mean? It should be constant with that, and it's not just one time, hey, don't do this. It needs to be constantly reinforced, you know what I mean? And it starts at home and should go with school and stuff like that. So
nope, agreed.
Well, I tell you what, let's end this show.
I got a question.
Okay, answer the question. We're going to end it on our usual 4 questions and end
on
a good note.
So, you guys, we saw a picture of the young one shooting that elk and a fallow deer. Each of you, give me your favorite wild game recipe that if Mike and Dan come to your house that you would cook us.
Well, Jayson doesn't cook, so that's not going to work because there. We have a Traeger grill out back that I do the elk poppers, like the jalapeno poppers I grow out in the garden every summer with the cream cheese all seasoned up real good. We have a friend of ours that owns a farm out in Memphis, Michigan, where I grew up. I get the fresh bacon, wrap them up with a piece of the elk tenderloin inside, and oh my God, it is to die for. It's one of our favorite things around here for sure.
It is. We actually, and then she cooks, so she does all the cooking. Thanksgiving, we just did it was elk meat too. We did like an elk, like a queso dip. It was amazing. That actually might be my
beer.
A little bit of beer in it is my new favorite.
My cast iron skillet on the stove, lots of onions, I do canning. I know that's an unpopular thing nowadays. Again, Mom, if you're watching, thanks. But yeah, we do salsa now every summer, and I use some of the homemade salsa and threw it in there with some bunch of different cheeses and beer and the elk meat, and it was delicious too. So
we got to get a different question because I'm always hungry after that question.
Nothing like your mouth. It's like, man. But no, that we want to end on a good note, and I think that's a good place to leave our stomachs nice and full.
But we have a flamethrower. She won't let me cook anything with the flamethrower.
Yeah, he tried to do the turkey one year, and I had to literally put a note on it in the fridge, like, do not flamethrow.
All right, it's hanging there behind you. Go ahead. We got to see it. Don't fire it up in there, but
it's not. There's nothing in it.
I've been waiting to ask the question about it, so sitting back there.
We do sell these if anyone is looking. They're great to melt your ice in your driveway in the wintertime. Jayson's proven that time and time again.
It'll shoot a flame about 15 to 20 feet, depending on what's in it. You fill the tank with, we use a little bit of gasoline, a little bit of diesel. It's got a lithium-ion battery inside of it that actually pumps the gas. They're a ton of fun.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Lots and lots of fun.
All right, so I got to ask, what's the cost?
Like $600 or so.
You can buy a backpack attachment that you can even have more gas in it for. So that's a little bit more. If you want to take the chance of having the, the flammable item on your back while you're shooting it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Danny, that would be great for the
We had a lot
nest.
of fun with it.
I'm telling you, that'd be perfect for that wasp hornet's nest in the tree.
There you go.
Yeah.
They are. We've actually shot some hornet's nests with them. They're a ton of fun. So.
It's a good Christmas gift.
Stocking stuff.
Danny, I want one for Christmas.
I want one in my stocking.
No background check required.
There you go. All right. I'll tell you what, it's been a blast. We're running out of time here. We actually went over, but that's quite all right. We have a lot of fun talking about this stuff.
It's
Thanks.
great talking to you guys. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, not a problem. Just hang on after the show here, and we'll talk offline here just a little bit. But for everybody who's watching or listening to the show, make sure you go over to Island Armory's social media pages, give them a like, follow, share. Do the same for us. Share the show. And if you're listening on iTunes, make sure you give us a review. That helps the people who support us in turn. So next week, Danny, what are we doing?
I think next week we're going to be wrapping up the year.
Wrapping up the year. Talking a little bit about our deer hunts and all that kind of good stuff?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, that'll do it for us this week, folks. Just remember, next week we'll be back again, 7:30 next Thursday night, and we'll be talking about some good stuff then. Y'all take care. We'll see you next week. This episode was brought to you by
PSE Archery, Yamaha Outboards, Better the Hunt, Easy Cut, Packer Max, Deer Camp Coffee, Buck Baits, JPO Game Calls, Limwalker Game Calls, Wild Seasoning, Total Peep, Sunrise Archery, Scent Lock, and Scent Blocker.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.